Once again, folks, it is time to ride or die. And for the 10th time, and two more to come, and a lot more to come if I have it my way, we're getting ready to jump into my review of the new film, Fast X. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new film Fast X, whatever you want to call it, coming to theaters May 19th. Now, folks, listen. Vin Diesel has already made the news that this is part of a trilogy, which is going to be the final 3 films in the Fast and Furious franchise, which I am calling his bluff. There's going to be a lot more, and I have my thoughts why. But nonetheless, you know, if you had not heard the news, I'm just going to quickly say that at the end of this film, you're clearly left on a cliffhanger that clearly lets you know as an indication that there's many more films, or at least another film to come. Because they covered a lot of different things in this film, but left a lot unfinished. And that's what's really cool about these films, man, is that they always give you a lot of action, non-stop fun. And yes, it's not rational, but how are you here by the 10th film and you're still trying to apply logic and science and all sorts of different things when this film has never tried to be serious since the very beginning? And every other genre, IP, series, franchise, whatever you want to be, always gets a pass. But for whatever reason, Fast and Furious gets this scrutiny that doesn't make any sense. And for anybody who's a true car enthusiast, I mean, granted, you're probably not going to go see Gran Turismo. You say you are, but you're probably not. You didn't like Need for Speed. You didn't like Red Line. You didn't like Biker Boys. So I don't understand why this series, this IP, this franchise gets sort of the criticism that it does. But hey, listen, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm completely biased. I love Fast and Furious. I could not wait to have seen this, and this was fantastic. So much fun, non-stop laughs. We're going to talk about Jason Momoa. We're going to talk about all things with this film, but it's absolutely a must-watch for anybody who loves this franchise. You already know what time it is. You got to go check this one out. It's all about family, folks. But a couple of things I really liked about this film is that how this film connected to my previous favorite film in the 5th one, you know, and you know, we'll talk about that in a second. But ultimately, this film just connects to any and everything, any character, any bit of bloodlines within these different families. Everything's all about family. They just really hit all the connections that they could, which makes it just so much fun, the connectability within everything, which makes you really truly have to invest into each and every film for every little bit of aspect that may eventually come back with you down the line. And much like the previous films they did it, and this film is doing the same by connecting you to things of the past. And that brings us to our villain now here. So, you know, when Vin Diesel was trying to get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to return, you know, that wasn't happening. He needed another big star, and that was him soliciting the services of Jason Momoa, who plays the character Dante. Dante is the son of Reyes from the 5th Fast and Furious film, which, you know, happened with the Vault and Brazil and all that other stuff. Yeah, he was the son. So yeah, the first part of this film is connecting and really establishing the stakes for this film by what happened from a different vantage point of the 5th Fast and Furious film. Now, again, I'm gonna keep this non-spoiler, but there are some things at the end of this film that I just have to kind of just predict and kind of want to go off the rails a little bit with. So it might be a little bit of spoiler in that, but for the most part, you know, no spoilers here. But yeah, just talking about Jason Momoa's work as Dante. Dante really gives the oomph to this film. He's such an enjoyable character because, yes, he's your villain, but he's giving you Joker vibes. I mean, he is absolutely channeling his version, his iteration of the Joker. So I'm not going to even name, like, you know, previous people who's played the Joker, because it almost as if like he's providing his very own version of it. He's sadistic for sure, but yeah, he's filled with tons of comedy. He's unhinged. He's techie as well too, so you know, you give him that. He's very resourceful. But by all means, he's filled with the comedy. You know what I mean? He's filled with the one-liners. He's unorthodox at times. He's very gender fluid. You know, he gives you masculinity, he gives you a feminine side as well too. I mean, he's just having a really good time in all he does. But at the end of the day, he is seeking revenge for his father, and he does not want to kill Dominic Toretto. He wants him to torture and his family. And yeah, he's going to utilize all of his resources to do so, which makes everyone that's ever been in any relation with Dominic Toretto a target, and thus everybody has to figure out what they're going to do. So with that, there's tons of callback moments and footage, like tons of stock footage from all of the previous film, which is really, really cool. Kind of having us relive some of those moments again, as this is the final road towards the end. You know, this is like part 1 of 3 of the final 3 films, final 3 as he says. So like going back down, all of that nostalgia is definitely very emotional triggering. You know, you get sad and you get happy, you get all sorts of emotions reliving some of those moments from the past here. And without a doubt, Brian is missed. Like, you know, the previous films that kind of like made Brian a character that was sort of written off, but this one, he's just flat out missed. And like, yeah, I bring that up now is because with looking in all those callbacks, you can't help but to say, who's that guy, you know? And, you know, long live the great Paul Walker, but like, you know, Brian is missed in this. And like, there's absolutely moments in this film that you're like, why is Brian, if he's alive, not a factor within what's happening here? I mean, Mia's here, where's Brian? So like, you know, it's hard to overlook that, but this one truly was like okay, Brian's missing here. Brian's missing, something's not right here. But again, I really loved how they recapped Fast 5 and then establishing the stakes. And it's very similar to how they really brought in Shaw with Tokyo Drift with Han, you know, kind of showing it from a different vantage point to really show you like what was all going on here. And then I think at times too, I think that just with Brian, again, just the honor, the tribute towards him, it was kind of hard at times, because I mean, we saw this franchise really get established by Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, and everything that Dominic Toretto is really bearing has to do with not only what's happening around him currently within the film, but obviously you can tell that something's missing, and that something missing is completely Brian. And it's just a sad aspect of the film that I'm sure they didn't totally equate for initially, but like, it's hard for them to kind of go forward with these films without acknowledging that Brian is a main part of this family here. But again, Dante, Jason Momoa, Chandler's inner Joker, it's amazing here. You got some really cool moments too in terms of like the action in this here. When you think about the characters and what every character brings to the film, everyone seems to have a specific like role or duty, but everybody gets a little something in this film. And with that being said, like, yeah, you got folks like Charlize Theron, who you want to have some hand-to-hand combat in it, and she sure as hell does, and it's bomb. And I think that Brie Larson, who's brought in as well too. First of all, Brie Larson's introductory scene is like a complete parody of everything Fast and Furious. Like I swear, and that's why I love this franchise, because it knows what it is and it hears what you all are saying, and it takes that and it completely acknowledges it and makes a laugh out of it. Brie Larson's character as Tess, when she is established in this, it is a complete parody of all Fast and Furious, and Tess is the daughter of Mr. Nobody. Yeah, family is said 1,000 times. Why wouldn't it be? The LA home is always up for a chance of being destroyed, because why wouldn't it be? That's sort of like a thing now. John Cena's in it, of course. You know, John Cena returns as Jacob, the brother. The AA is hit. Gotta let my wrestling folks know that. And I honestly was thinking for a moment, because with everybody return, I'm like, man, is this gonna be the first movie that John Cena and The Rock are actually in together? I was kind of hoping out for that, but I'm not gonna say anything. But like, you may know, you may not know, but like, I'm, just kind of thinking about that, wrestling folks again. Mr. Nobody missing, but yeah, Mr. Nobody has little nobody, and obviously the daughter now here. But everybody is a target for Dante. And with that being said too, the agency is also having their hands involved with this, which at this point everybody's kind of flipping sides. Sometimes they're your friends, sometimes there's not, sometimes there's enemy of an enemy is my friend. There's all sorts of different alliances kind of going on within the film, which makes it really kind of fun, you know what I mean? I will say that the trailers of this truly gave away some things that should have just not been given away. And I think one I could think about is with Han, and the moment Han meets Shaw, which we know is a big thing because, well, Shaw killed Han, and now he's returned, and they have to confront one another. And I just think, like, if you have an opportunity to avoid any bit of the trailers at this point, just do so now, because like the trailers definitely gave away moments that just should not have been given away. Tyrese as Roman and Ludacris is Taj. The two of them are fantastic. Tyrese, by all means, is still the funniest character as Roman in all of these movies, and by all means, him assuming the leader position in this for a little while is the funniest aspect of this film. It's ridiculous, but why wouldn't it be as Roman? You know what I mean? But I think at certain points of this film, you start to really look around and say, like, well, who's not here? Why aren't they here? Because with all of the different connectabilities within everything that's happening, there's certain characters that just are absent, and it's hard to just overlook. Brian being the one, obviously you're bringing up, Hobbs with The Rock. It just doesn't work as well with them, with their absence, knowing that they should be here. They absolutely are pivotal characters in everything that is happening within it. With that being said, the film completely leaves you with a cliffhanger, so without a doubt that you know that there's more to come. I mean, it literally leaves you on a like, wait, that's it type of thing. But by 2 hours and something, you're kind of thinking like the movie should kind of be over, as long as I don't know what. But yeah, there's so much more to come. I really love the establishment of Dom's son and little Brian. I think he's a force to be reckoned with going forward, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more in a second. And I think also too, what I really liked about this film is that, like, while they try to up one another in terms of like the ridiculousness, which I love, by the way, this one really didn't. This one kind of tried to stay very subtle in the things that they kind of done in the past, but just kind of like remixed it a little bit. So like they didn't really do anything truly unique in it. There's like a couple of things maybe, but ultimately it was just very core Fast and Furious within this one, and I love the fact that like we go back to a lot of the different locations that we've been to in the past, with London and Brazil. So like revisiting some of these locations that we previously went to and connecting the stories to that, I think was like really, really cool. You know what I mean? And I can't really like stress enough that Jason Momoa is a complete treat to this film as Dante. Dante, who is again channeling his Joker. He's also kind of channeling his John Kramer from Saw, a little bit of mix of that as well too. But again, sadistic, very comedic. But he has a mission. He's doing any and everything to achieve that, and that is to make Dominic Toretto and his family suffer. With that being said, there is a mid-credit scene. You definitely want to stay tuned for that. That absolutely answers some things, because I think without the mid-credit scene, if you really, really, really sit back and try to assess Dante's logic in terms of his motivation and ideology behind what he's doing, it doesn't make sense without the mid-credit scene, because there's definitely a 50% part of his motivation that doesn't make sense unless, well, mid-credit scene. So and here's where I'm just going to talk a little bit about spoilers just a little bit here. There are endless possibilities for what they can do going forward. Obviously, we know we had the Fast and Furious animated series on Netflix, which is about the kids. But like, yeah, you have little Brian, who's Dom's son. You have Jack, who's Mia and Brian's son. You also has Nico, who's Vince's son, who It's in Brazil, which I don't know how they just dropped the ball and didn't really kind of set that up in this. And then you're talking about family and folks being targeted here. Well, you have Deckard Shaw, who is, you know, played by Jason Statham. But then what about his brother in Owen Shaw? Where is he at? He's not dead. We know that because he went and checked on his brother in the hospital, you know? So you're kind of wondering, like, will he make an appearance? I love Luke Evans, so, like, I'm all for that. But you're like, is he going to make an appearance? When will it happen? I need it to happen because there's still a lot more story to be told. And when they wrap this all up, these are very core, important aspects to the whole story. So I don't know, that's a lot, but nonetheless, I'm very excited with this film. And you know, if you're a hardcore fan, this is a no-brainer for you. But check it out again, theaters May 19th. Jump in the comments, folks, let me know your thoughts about this, and as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.